Hey guys, it's Bobby Legs and welcome to another episode of Bobby Legs Loves Watches. And today what I have for you is a watch by Citizen. It's called the Citizen, reference number AQ4091-56L. Now, if you live in the United States like I do, you will not see this watch on any Citizen website that is available here in the United States, right? I found this watch going down the rabbit hole of Japanese online stores. This one online site called Sakura Watches, which have great deals on a lot of Japanese brands. And I was looking into Citizen in particular. I got it in my head that, you know what, I want a nice Citizen watch. You don't see too many of those in the States, meaning in the dressier side. You see a lot of divers, a lot of sporty, or a lot of affordable watches. And I think in the United States, people do not realize, and I certainly didn't, that there is a high-end side to Citizen that you don't see here, that you only see in Asia, right? And I don't know why that is. I don't know why they don't open up that part of their catalog to the United States. Maybe they feel like it just wouldn't sell well. Maybe they see Grand Seiko as a huge competitor, even though Grand Seiko is a huge competitor, I would assume, in Asia as well. But maybe it's a different mentality here for Americans, that Grand Seiko is, the high-end Japanese watchmaker, or at least that's what we perceived. But I would argue that this watch can compete with a lot of Grand Seiko watches, and we'll get into that. So I found it on Sakura, and this watch retails at $3,000 US, and I found a pretty good price in the low twos in Sakura, but they just never had it in stock. And so I found it on eBay through a Japanese seller, and I picked it up for a fairly good price. I think I picked it up around $2,300. It was listed for $2,700, but I made an offer, and then there was also one of those 10% coupon codes that eBay throws at you every once in a while. And so the stars really, really aligned, and I felt like I got a really good price for a whole lot of watch. So let's get right into the specs. We have a 40 millimeter case diameter, around a 47 millimeter lug to lug, 12.5 millimeter case thickness, 20 millimeter lug width. You have this domed sapphire crystal with AR coating. The case and the bracelet is made out of super titanium, which is a trademark to Citizen proprietary material. And it's also coated with Duratech, which is their surface hardening technology. And so, look, I mean, it's a coating, right? So it does a really good job with superficial brushes up against stuff, you know what I mean? Like, but if you really wanted to scratch this thing, right, you can do it, right? I mean, it's not like Zinn's tegmented technology or Damasco's ice hardening technology, where that tegmentation or that treatment, that ice hardened treatment, is like in the steel itself. This is a coating. So everyday use, I think, in desk diving, it's really well protected, but you can put a scratch in it. And like, as you can see here, barely here, right where my fingernail is pointing, I put a little gash in there. I know exactly when I did this. I swung and hit a door frame, as I typically do. I'm very, very clumsy. But anyway, titanium, but you're going to see some polished elements to this, and which is amazing that they can do this. I mean, this is the same Zaratsu polishing that you see in a lot of Grand Seiko. So that skill is translated over to Citizen. They have those kind of people who can handle that kind of stuff. So you see this matte gray that you typically would see with titanium, with a sapphire, with a polished, highly polished bezel here, and that's titanium. That's not steel, that's titanium. So it's really, really cool. And right here on the edge of the case up top, you see that going from one lug end to another. In the inner part of the outer links, you see that polishing too. You have the regular, brush look of the titanium in the middle, but it really accentuates that middle brush part, right, in a positive way. The polish edges here, so it looks very, very cool and sleek, and it runs down all the way down from the end link to the buckle here, the clasp. And so you do have a 20 millimeter up top bracelet, but it tapers down to 18 for a nice comfortable fit. Citizen on the clasp, very small clasp, no micro adjust, very reminiscent to some Grand Seiko clasp and bracelet. So in style and look. So you're going to see a lot of similarities there between the two. Screw links on both ends. So you're going to have to get 2 small screwdrivers and hold one screwdriver and the screw stationary while you unscrew the other one. Be patient, take your time, and you could do it yourself. Otherwise, if it's something that you're nervous about, then bring it to your watchmaker for them to do it. And you may have an issue trying to dial in the size because there is no micro adjust, but there is these half links here, and it might take you a little while and patience. I know it wasn't easy for me. It probably took me about 15 to 20 minutes to size, but I was very careful. And I did take my time, and hopefully I don't have to measure it ever again, right? I don't have to change the sizing of the bracelet. As you can see here, the case back is a screw down case back and titanium again. And you see that eagle, the Citizen eagle, and I'll talk about that in a little bit when we go on the dial side. But you see that there now. You have 100 meters water resistance on this watch. It is not a screw down crown, but you do have these nice crown guards here that give it a sporty. I think of this watch as like a dressy, sporty piece for me, more so on the dressier side than sporty, especially on this bracelet for some reason. I know that's probably the opposite of what most of us would think. On the bracelet, it's sporty. It feels like a dressy piece, and I think part of it is because it only weighs 86 grams too, so it's very, very light, and it just doesn't necessarily feel like a sports piece. It feels like more of a dress piece because of that lightness to it, I think, and it's the titanium, and it's great. Like I said, 86 grams, and at first, and for actually a few weeks, it almost felt like I was wearing a toy watch. That's how light it is, right? And I don't mean that as a negative. I mean that as something as I'm just amazed that something like this is so light and so well done. You know what I mean? I associate sometimes like something that's very light to being cheap, but not in this case. Anyway, so you pull out to the first position. The crown is nicely knurled, and what I like about this is that the hour hand is independent of the minute hand there, right? So it's nice, and you can keep that watch going, the second hand going, and if you have it accurately dialed in and don't want to change that, and of course you can pull it out to the later end, the last position to change the minute in a second, or stop it the second. But this is a perpetual date movement. Now the movement is the Eco Drive Solar Quartz A060 caliber. It's plus or minus 5 seconds a year. Again, like I said, perpetual calendar date. So that date is you're not gonna have to change the date. You're gonna set this watch once, really. Now I'm gonna, in this spot right here, I will put in a link to the video where I set the calendar on this watch. So if I haven't yet, by the time you see this video, rest assured, eventually I'm going to put out another video doing that change of date. So I'm just letting you know right here that that's where it's going to, the link is going to appear on the top of your screen. But this date will, once you set it, and the time, once you set it, you don't have to change the date on this until the year 2100. So long after we're around, your kin or descendants will have to figure that out. So that's pretty cool. And so Citizen also, they set aside their freshly manufactured crystal oscillators for a 6-month observation period, right? So this is what it helps with the accuracy of this watch, this whole process, and they select those that meet that high standard, and it's according to them, demanding standards of accuracy, right? So that's how they're able to maintain that plus or minus 5 seconds a year. On a full charge, you're going to get 7 months on this. So exposure to light will fully charge it. So I have this on my watch box that has a glass top, and it gets enough sunlight. And I wear the watch a lot too, so it's going to get a good charge. Check out this dial, this blue dial, washi-paper it's made out of, right? So it's like this very thin paper that a lot of artists in Japan use, and it's so thin, but still tough. But it's so thin that the light can get through, and that's where the light comes to the source to charge is underneath this dial here. Citizen applied and the I keep on wanting to say chicken. it's the eagle. Within my group we affectionately call it the chicken watch, but it is the eagle with the Citizen on there, the C, and the eagle. According to Citizen's website, the eagle symbolizes Citizen's twin commitments of looking ahead and pursuing the ideal, and to becoming an integral part of the user's life. The mark is discreetly engraved on the dial and the crown on some models. Very, very cool. This watch is assembled in the Nagano countryside, right? Remember Nagano from the Olympics a few Winter Olympics ago? And it's hand assembled down to the last component by their experienced master watchmakers. So a lot of effort is put into this awesome watch. Lume is applied to the indices and to the hands. The hands are these Dauphine style or sword style, however you want to call them, hands, highly polished as well. The date window is framed out with polished steel there. And in the chapter ring, you can't really tell here, but there are lume plots in the chapter ring in these indices here. So you have some lume. The lume is very good on this watch. This watch is sporty and dressy at the same time and has some great features and qualities to it. Let's put this on wrist. And again, it's just so light on wrist, and it does, heavy watches take some time to get used to, but so does a watch like this. It's so light, and I really do. I mean, I know it's cliche when people talk about like dress watches and watches that don't weigh as much, but you almost forget that it's there. You actually totally forget that it's there. And sometimes that's a good thing, right? This watch is a beauty. And I have to admit, there's been a couple of times when I thought about selling it or putting it for sale and just, not able to go through with any kind of sales, because this watch, I just really enjoy this watch. And I had recently purchased the Grand Seiko Sea of Clouds, which is another high accuracy quartz movement. It uses a battery, not solar, highly polished, beautiful dial. And I ended up selling it recently. And I don't need two high accuracy quartz watches in my collection. And I think the Citizen the Citizen won out, right? So the Grand Seiko's gone. Not that I will never buy a Grand Seiko. I'm sure I will. The spring drive. I think, if I go Grand Seiko, I think I want to do spring drive, right? That's what they're known for. So that's okay. And the Sea of Clouds, it found its new owner, and it's going to be just fine. But this watch is great. I like wearing this watch on a leather strap as well, just to change it up. In fact, that's what I'm probably going to do as soon as I'm done with this video, is put it on a leather strap. Anyway, great looking watch. One of my favorites watches that I've ever bought, that's been in my collection. Just really cool technology. It definitely deserves a space in my box. I know a lot of people don't like quartz watches, feel like they don't have a soul. A lot of collectors do anyway. I disagree. I think this watch has plenty of soul. Look at that dial. Look at the high polish. The cool accuracy, plus or minus 5 seconds a year, the perpetual calendar date. I mean, this is just a great piece of machinery here, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of this watch. I would love to hear what you have to say. Citizen, I'm a big fan of Citizen, and I'm glad that they have these kind of watches in their catalog. And I'm hoping that now that you've seen this, that you'll do some exploration and look and try to seek some of these watches out, because they're really great watches. You can go to Nomad Watches and find a good selection on high accuracy, high end Citizen. You may not find this exact model. You may have to go to eBay to do that. But there are sites out there that you can definitely check out and find these watches. They're just great. Anyway, guys, see you in the next video. Hope you have a good one, and take care. If my channel is new to you and you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and click that bell icon to get updates when I upload new videos. I love making these videos, and I hope you like them too. And also, if you want to support the channel, please buy me a cup of coffee. The link is in the description. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.